So am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. The last topic that we have completed was parallelogram law, right? And cases of parallelogram law, some special cases in parallelogram.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's solve some more problems based on parallelogram. First one is we will do some tough numericals based on parallelogram law. The first question is just one more thing. If two vectors were parallel, then the resultant of those vectors was a plus b. If they were anti-parallel, then the resultant was a minus b. So when the vectors were parallel, then you can say that a plus b as the maximum resultant. So in the last section, I have written that if vectors are parallel, then R is a plus b. Write this as R max. And when the vectors were anti-parallel, then I have written a minus b. Then write this as R minimum. So if it is given in question that something is the maximum resultant of two vectors, then the maximum resultant means both the vectors are acting in same direction. If I say something is the minimum resultant of two vectors, that means the vectors were acting in opposite direction. Okay, just note it down and start some numericals. In the previous sections, just instead of a plus b, write R max, and a minus b, write R minimum. So the numerical is maximum and minimum resultant of two forces are Newton or 10, 5 Newton and 15 Newton. So the maximum and minimum resultant of two forces are 5 Newton and 15 Newton. You're supposed to calculate individual forces. So the maximum result, say the two forces are, let the two forces are F1 and F2. These are the two forces, F1 and F2. Here F1 plus F2 is 15 Newton, that's first equation. F1 minus F2 is 5 Newton, that's second equation. From these two equations, you are supposed to calculate the value of F1 and F2. So if I add these two equations, then F2 will cancel this minus F2. This is F1 plus F1, it's 2F1. 15 plus 5 is 20. So you can write your F1 as it's 20 by 2 and your F1 is 10 Newton. Once you have F1, you can substitute the value of F1 in either of the two equations. If I substitute the value of F1 in 1, then this is 10 plus F2 is 15. So your F2 is 5. So this is F2, which is 5 Newton. So F1 is 10 Newton and this is F2, which is 5 Newton. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Put it down. Fatma, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Faiza?
Yes, sir.
Just note it down and let me know when you have written. Okay. So that was about parallelogram law. After parallelogram law, let's start with triangle law. Triangle law of vector addition. So in triangle law of vector addition, the difference between parallelogram law and triangle law is that of geometrical construction. In parallelogram law, both the vectors were co-initial. Co-initial vector means they have same starting point. But in triangle law, you need vectors which are in same order. So I'm writing conditions to use triangle law. Conditions to use triangle law. First condition. While using triangle law, your vectors should be in same order. Vectors should be in same order. Same order simply means head of one vector coincide with the tail of another. Second condition, just like parallelogram law, it can deal with only two vectors at a time. It can deal with only two vectors at a time. So these are the conditions for triangle law of vectors. So the definition says if two vectors acting at a point can be represented in magnitude and direction by sides of triangle taken in same order. Then their resultant can be represented by closing side of triangle in opposite order. Opposite order. Okay, when I say that vectors are in same order, whenever I say that given vectors are in same order, when I say that given vectors are in same order simply means head of one vector coincides with the tail of another. Same order means this is first vector. The head of first vector coincides with the tail of another. This is vectors are in same order. Closing side means head of one vector coincides with the head of another. So this is vector A and this is vector B. Vector A and B are inclined at an angle theta. See, head of one vector is coinciding with the tail of another. That means these two vectors are in same order. So their resultant is the closing side of triangle. Resultant is the closing side of triangle. And this is in opposite order. Head and head will coincide. Closing side of triangle, head and head will coincide. So that's the major difference between triangle law and polygon law. Otherwise, the formulas are same. The derivation is same. The only difference in this geometry, here vectors are in same order. While in parallelogram law, your vectors were coinitial. The resultant in parallelogram law was represented by the diagonal of parallelogram. But here the resultant is represented by the closing side of triangle. Okay, just note it down. Faiza, Fazil.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm erasing it. Okay, the next is, so you have two vectors A and B. You're supposed to add them up using triangle. This is vector sum. Just like parallelogram law, here again, three steps are involved. Step 1, which is geometrical construction. Which is geometrical construction. So you have two vectors, vector A and vector B. Vector A and vector B. They are inclined at an angle theta. The resultant is represented by the diagonal of parallel, by the closing side of triangle taken in opposite order. So the name of this triangle is OPQ. I put a perpendicular here. Let's call this as it. Each side of triangle represent one vector. Like this side OP is equal to magnitude of vector A. You can write magnitude either in mod or simply as it. The side PQ represents the magnitude of vector B. You can write magnitude as mod of B or just by simple. This is my first equation. This is my second equation. OQ here is magnitude of vector R or just R. That's equation number. Next, step 2 is the calculation of magnitude. To calculate magnitude, I need the length of the side OQ. So I'm using in triangle ONQ. If you remember the parallelogram law, the calculations are exactly same as that of parallelogram. In triangle ONQ, if I use Pythagoras Theorem, its OQ square is ON square plus QN square. OQ square is QN square, not ON square. You can write this ON as OP plus PN plus QN square. You can write this OQ square as OP plus PN plus QN square. This is equation number 4. Now we know that OQ is R, OP is A, but we need to calculate the values of PN and QN. So for PN and QN, we can use right angle triangle. If I use triangle PNQ. So Faiza, what is cos theta in triangle PNQ? Faiza, how much is cos theta in triangle PNQ? Just in terms of size of triangle. This is
PN by
sorry.
PN by
Yes, PN by right.
PQ.
PQ. So your cos theta is it's PN by PQ, and how much is PQ? PQ is B. So your PN is B cos theta only. That's equation number 5. This is PN. How could you can you calculate QN from this triangle? Which trigonometric ratio would you prefer to calculate QN? Faiza?
Yeah, I didn't understand the question.
Which trigonometric ratio would you prefer to calculate QN in this triangle, P and Q?
I don't know.
Okay, what is sine theta in the same triangle?
QN by
Right.
PQ.
So your sine theta is it's Qn divided by PQ is B. So your Qn here is B sine theta. That is equation number 6. If I substitute this 1, 3, 5 and 6 is in 4. 1, 3, 5, 6 and 4. If I substitute all these values, I don't have much space. Just note it down. Then I will erase it. Can I erase it?
Yes.
So if I substitute all these values in this equation number 4, then you will get that R square is OP, which is A, PN, which is B cos theta whole square, plus Qn, which is B sine theta whole square. So I got R square is A square plus B square cos square theta plus 2AB cos theta plus B square sine square theta. So here B square cos theta and B square sine square theta, you can take B square as common. If you take B square as common, this is A square. I take B square as common, so this is cos square theta plus sine square theta plus 2AB cos theta. So if you can remember, the steps are exactly same as that of parallelogram law. This cos square theta plus sine square theta is 1. So R is its root over A square plus B square plus twice of AB cos theta. So that is your resultant magnitude R, which is A square plus B square plus 2AB cos. The next step, the last step is the calculation of direction. Step 3. Sania, can you guess how do you calculate direction? Sania, how can you calculate direction in this case? Yes?
Sir, I don't know.
Let's
I'm
take,
not getting your voice clear.
okay. Let's take this angle as beta.
Corresponding angle.
No, not corresponding. If somehow I can calculate this beta, we can calculate direction. So in triangle ONQ, how would you calculate beta in triangle ONQ? How much is tan?
Okay.
Q and by all.
Base, perpendicular upon base.
Okay.
So I can write this as,
Oh.
we can further break this Qn. This will be Qn. On could be written as OP plus Pn. So Sania, how much is Q?
Yes.
How much is Qn?
Sir, I cannot hear you. Sir.
Sorry, it got disconnected. So had you written that those parts, or you have written all those parts up to direction?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, Fazil,
Yes, sir.
you have written. Fatma, Faiza, this angle is theta. This is beta. This is O, this is P, this is Q. So we were doing step 3, that is to calculation of direction. So tan beta is perpendicular upon base, so that's Qn over On. So that's Qn over OP plus Pn. So tan beta is Qn. Qn was B sine theta. OP is A plus Pn B cos theta. So you can write that your beta is tan inverse B sine theta over a plus b cos theta. Okay. So, Fatma, can you differentiate between triangle law and parallelogram law? What's the difference between triangle and parallelogram law? Fatma. What is the major difference between triangle law and parallelogram law? No answer. Okay. Sania, what's the difference between triangle law and parallelogram law?
There was no direction in that.
Direction, the formula of direction is same in both. Even in parallelogram law, you had the same formula for direction. It was a major.
Yeah.
In parallelogram diagonals.
Yeah. The difference is in geometrical construction. In parallelogram law, the diagonal represents the resultant vector. While in triangle law, it's the closing side of the triangle which represents the resultant vector. So the major difference between parallelogram law and triangle law is that of geometrical construction. Otherwise, the formula of magnitude and direction is same. The only difference is that of geometrical construction. Okay, just note it down. I will rub it. Okay. So can I erase it?
Yes, sir.
Let's do one simple question on triangle law. We won't use triangle law in many problems. The law that we will use very frequently is parallelogram law. But yes, we should at least solve one numerical on triangle law. And the numerical says a body cover a distance of 3 meters towards east and then 5 meters towards northeast. Calculate total displacement covered by the body. You need to calculate the total distance covered by the body. So to calculate total distance, total displacement of the body, to decide whether you will use triangle law or polygon law, triangle law or parallelogram law, first of all, you need to draw what is given. So body covers 3 meters, this is east. It's covering 3 meters towards east. Then 5 meters towards northeast. See, this is east, this is west, this is north, and this is south. Northeast means at 45 degrees with east towards the north. So it covers 3 meters towards east, and then this is S1. and it covers 5 meters in this direction.
Sir,
Okay, now can you guess what type of vectors are they? Are they coinitial or same order or in opposite order?
same one.
Yes, these two vectors are in same order, opposite order. What type of vectors are? These two vectors are in same order, right? Because head of one vector coincide with the tail of another. So if head and tail coincide, that means vectors are in same order. This is the result. This is the result. So you are supposed to calculate R, which is vector S1 plus vector S2. Angle between S1 and S2 is 45 degrees. So simply write this as your R is, it's S1 square plus S2 square plus 2S1 S2 cos 45 degrees. If I substitute the values, your S1 is 3, so it's 3 square. S2 is 5, so it's 5 square. It's 2 into 3 into 5 into cos 45 is 1 by root 2. So this root 2 will cancel, this 2 is left with root 2 only. Or I should represent the total resultant by not R with S, total displacement, because its displacement is S. So I can write this total displacement S as root over 9 plus 25 plus 15 by root 2. So the total displacement is, it's 25 plus 9. 25 plus 9 is 34 plus 15 by root 2 meter. I'm not solving it further. The last part is direction. Say it's making some angle beta with this thing. So we can calculate tan beta. The formula of tan beta is b sine theta by a plus b cos theta. Faiza, can you decide out of S1 and S2 which one is vector A and which one is B? Faiza. Can you decide out of S1 and S2 which one is vector A and which one is vector B? Faiza.
S1 is vector A,
Right.
S2 is vector B.
Basically, the vector with respect to which you have defined your angle beta is your A and the another one is B. So you can simply write this as your B is S2. It's sine 45 degree S1 plus S2 cos 45. I don't have much space now. Just substitute the values of S1 and S2 and get tan beta. So Fatma and Rania, you are very late. What happened? Fatma, Farhana and Rania Rizwan, you are late by almost 30 minutes. You had any other class somewhere? Fatma?
Yes, sir. I came back from tuition now.
What time?
Tuition is still fixed, but I should reach there, right? It's at Citra.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes, Father.
sir, how did you get the 45 degree, like the angle?
Okay, 45 degrees. So whenever you say that it's towards northeast, northeast means it's bisecting between east and north. If it say southeast, that means it's bisect the angle between south and east. So if I bisect the angle between north and east, that means 45 degrees. So this is how I got northeast. 45 degrees, right?
Yes.
Clear, Fazil?
Yes, sir.
Northeast means it bisects the angle between east and north. So it comes out to be 45 degrees. So Fatma and Rania, you both have missed triangle law of vector addition. So up to last class, we have done parallelogram law. Today we started with triangle law. So you have missed triangle law of vector addition. There is very small difference between triangle law and parallelogram law. All formulas are same as you can see here. Only the difference is in geometry. In parallelogram law, we make a parallelogram to calculate the resultant vector. But in triangle law, we make a triangle to calculate the resultant vector. Otherwise, the relations are same. Same for magnitude as well as direction. So if I substitute the values here, S2 which is 5, sine 45 is 1 by root 2. S1 is 3. S2 is 5, cos 45 is 1 by root 2. That's tan beta. This is tan beta. This is how we calculate the resultant displacement. This is the angle. So can I erase it now? Everyone. So these are the type of questions that you may get on triangle law. The only difference is in in geometrical representation. Nothing. You just have to see if vectors are given in this order, that head of one vector coincides with the tail of another. That means the vectors are in same order. To solve vectors in same order, you have to apply the triangle. Okay, so I'm erasing it. That was about triangle law. After triangle law, the next simple topic is position and displacement vector. See, what are position and displacement vector? Position and displacement vector. These positions and displacement vectors are based on triangle law of vector addition. Let's say this is our coordinate frame. I consider a point A. This is origin. I need a vector which can specify the exact location of point A. Exact location of point A means the separation of point A with respect to origin, like this separation. This separation. As well as the direction of point A with respect to origin. So a vector which can specify the position of a point in both magnitude as well as direction with respect to origin is known as position vector. So R1 is position vector. Similarly, if I take another point B, I want to specify the position of B with respect to origin. To specify position with respect to origin means I want to calculate the separation of B from the origin and also the direction of B with respect to origin. So to specify it, I consider another vector B. I call this as RT. So position vector is simple term. It was specify position of a body with respect to origin. Like both magnitude as well as direction, position of a body with respect to origin is given by position vector. That's position vector. Here R1 and R2 are position vectors of A and B. R1 and R2 are position vectors of A and B. Position vectors of A and B. Now, I want to specify the position of B with respect to A. Or I basically want to calculate the separation between B and A. See, this A is not origin. So if I want to specify the position of a point with respect to another point, I'm taking a vector from A to B, which is known as R12. So this R12 can specify the position of one point with respect to another. But position vectors specify the position of a point with respect to origin. So let's say displacement vector. It's better to write point instead of a body. If I take displacement vector, it specifies position of a point with respect to another point. So I need a vector which can specify position of a point with respect to another point. That vector is displacement vector. So here R12 is a displacement vector, is displacement vector from A to B. So since it is from R1 to R2, that's why I'm calling it R12. So Rania, if I want a displacement vector from B to A, what would be its name? I need a displacement vector from B to A. What should be its name? Rania.
R1.
Yes. So displacement vector from B to A. It's moving. It's from R2 to R1. So I call this as R2. So in this triangle OAP, if I want to calculate R12 in triangle OAP, Noor, in this triangle OAP, you have three vectors: a vector R1, a vector R12, and a vector R2. Which one is the resultant out of the three? Noor, out of R1, R12, and R2, which one is the resultant? Noor, Alok.
Sir, I didn't understand the question.
Sorry?
I didn't understand the question.
Okay. So in this triangle OAB, you have three vectors: a vector R1, a vector R12, and a vector R2, right? Out of these three, which one is the resultant vector? There must be a resultant
A
vector.
and B?
Sorry?
Okay, A and B?
A and B. No. Out of R1, R12, and R2, which one is the resultant? R1, R12, and R2, which one is the resultant? Fazil, will you try?
Sir, is it R2?
Why?
Sir, because R1 and R12 are acting in the same
Right.
direction and it's all opposite.
It's because in triangle law, the resultant is represented by a vector in opposite order. See here, R1 and R2 here, head and tail coincide. It can't be resultant. But in case of R2, head and head coincide. So this R2 is in opposite order. This R2 is given in opposite order. So you can write this R2 is resultant, means on adding R1 and R12, you will get R2. So here your R12 is, it's vector R2 minus vector R1. This is R1. Similarly, you can even guess R21. R21 is vector R1 minus vector R2. This is R21. Vector R1 minus vector R2. Just note it down. We'll do one numerical on this concept. And tell me if you have any doubt. Let me know when you have written. Fatma, Farhana and Rani, are you getting this topic?
Yes, sir.
Can I raise it?
Yes, sir.
So you have 2 points A and B. Their coordinates are like 1, 2, 3 meter and 3, 6, 2 meter. So these are the coordinates of point A and B. I can write position vector of A, RA. You're supposed to calculate position vector, displacement vector, everything. So position vector RA, the coordinates of A are 1, 2 and 3. We always define coordinates with respect to origin. So that means from the origin along x-axis separation is 1 meter. From origin along y-axis separation is 2 meter. From origin along z-axis it's 3 meter. So you can simply write your RA as 1 I cap, 2 j cap, 3 k cap meter. Similarly, you can write your RB as 3 I cap, 6 j cap, 2 k cap meter. This is RA and RB. If I ask you to calculate displacement vector from A to B, displacement vector from A to B, A to B. Fatima, Farhana, what is the name of displacement vector from A to B? Yes, Fatima, Farhana, what's the name of the vector from A to B? You don't know, huh? Sania, displacement vector from A to B. It's RAB, right? It's RAB.
Yeah. RAP.
You're moving from A to B, so it's simply RAB. And how would you calculate RAB? It's always fine.
RA plus RB
RB minus R.
minus RA. Okay.
If I need RAB, that's always final minus initial is RB minus R. So you can write your RAB as this R, which is
Minus 3.
6j cap
6j cap plus 3 2k.
minus RA, which is I cap,
I can
2j cap.
2k cap 3k cap.
So if I write your RAB, it comes out to be 3I cap minus I cap, that's 2I cap. 6j
Let's see.
minus 2j cap is 4j cap. 2k cap
5j cap.
is minus.
Oh, minus.
And if I ask you to calculate displacement vector from B to A, displacement vector from B to A. So from B,
RA
vector is yes, RBA. That is
RA
minus.
minus RB
So RA is I cap
plus 2j cap
plus 3k cap
3j cap
which is 3I cap
cap
plus 6j cap plus 2.
plus 2k cap
So it comes out to be minus 2I
plus
cap minus 4j cap.
4j cap plus k cap meter.
Okay, just note it down. Then we will start polygon law. Tell me if you have any doubts. Can I raise it? Noor, Fazil,
Yes, sir.
oh,
Yes.
you're raising it. Huh? So that was about triangle law. So only thing that you should remember about triangle law is while adding vectors using triangle law, the vectors should be in same order. Head and tail should coincide. And the resultant should be in opposite order, means head and head will coincide. This is A, this is B, this is your vector R, this is resultant vector. Okay, tell me one thing. Say, I have taken three vectors, all three are in same order. This is vector A, this is vector B, and this one is vector C. All vectors like A, B, and C, all three are in same order. If someone asks you to calculate how much is A plus B plus C, so first of all, just tell me, is C the resultant vector? Yes or no? I need all answers in chat room. Yes or no? Is C the resultant vector? Yes or no? I need answer of each one of you in chat room. Okay. I got just two answers, one from Fazil and another from Sania. I'm asking, is C a resultant vector? Is C a resultant vector? Yes or no? Just each one of you just report your answer in chat room. Yes. Faiza, Rania, Noor. The answer is no. Because for a vector to be resultant in triangle law, the condition is this should be in opposite order. Opposite order means head of one should coincide with the head of another. But here not head of one coincides with the head of another. Head is not coinciding with head. So C is not resultant. First of all, C is not resultant vector. The first thing. Now the next thing is, what is the resultant? Resultant is this. Resultant is this vector which is taken in opposite order. This is the resultant. The vector that I am taking in red color is the resultant. This is your R. Because here head of R coincide with the head of B. So I can write this as that your R is the vector sum of A and B. That's first equation. Rania, can you just find any relation between R and C? Rania. Did you find any relation between R and C? Rania? No. Anyone else? Can anyone find relation between R and C? It's an open question for each one of
R and C are anti-parallel. Anti-parallel.
They are not just anti-parallel, they are negative of each other. See, the length of both R and C is the length of this side. The length of both vector R and C is equal to the length of third side of triangle. Means they have equal magnitudes. But see, they are acting in opposite directions. So can I say that R is minus of C? Rani, is it clear now?
Yes.
The length of both the vectors is equal to the magnitude of both the vectors is equal to the length of the third side. So you can say that they have equal magnitude, but since they are acting in opposite directions, so equal magnitudes in opposite directions, that means vectors are just negative of each other. R is minus of C. If I substitute 2 in 1, then you would get minus C is vector A plus vector B. If I take this C to the right hand side, then this is 0 is vector A plus vector B plus vector C. So if you can represent three vectors acting at a point by the sides of triangle taken in same order, that same order is, and the sum of all those three vectors is 0. If three vectors acting at a point are represented by sides of triangle in same order, then their sum is 0. So if you have three vectors acting at a point represented by the sides of triangle in same order, then the resultant is 0. Okay, just note it down. This is proof. This is the proof of this result. Just let me know when you have written. We'll start with polygon logic. Okay, Sania, Fazil, Noor,
Yes, sir. It does.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Triangle law. Yes, no, saying something.
no, sir.
The next is polygon law. See, when we do parallelogram law is valid only for two vectors. Using parallelogram law, you can add only two vectors acting at a point. The next is triangle law. It's again valid for two vectors. What if you have more than two vectors? If you have more than two vectors, then we'll come to polygon. So conditions for polygon law. Conditions for polygon law. First condition. Vectors should be in same order. So Rania, what do you mean by vectors in same order? Rania, what do you mean by vectors in same order? No idea. Faiza, what do you mean by vectors in same order?
Resultant will be 0.
No. Vectors in same order. Two vectors are in same order. What do you mean by two vectors are in same order? Faiza. Fatma Farhana, what do you mean by vectors in same order? If I say two vectors are in same mean? No answer. Sania, what do you mean by vectors in same order? Sania, what do you mean vectors are in same order?
They are same.
We are doing this vectors in same order throughout triangle law.
They have equal magnitude.
Oh. Fazil, what do you mean by vectors in same order?
Sir, they don't have common initial point, but
Same order means head of one vector coincide with the tail of another. Note it down. Same order means head of one vector coincides with the tail of another. This is what we mean by the vectors in same order. Head of one vector will coincide with the tail of another. If it is so, that means your vectors are in same order. Otherwise, they are in opposite order. If I say that two vectors or three vectors or five vectors are exactly in same order, that means they have their head and tail coincides. So Rania, what do you mean by vectors in same order?
The head of one vector coincides the tail of the other vector.
And what about opposite order? If I say that vectors are in opposite order, then what should it mean? Opposite order, anyone?
It
The
does
head
not
of a vector
coincide.
is coinciding with the head of another vector.
Opposite order means head coincide with the head.
Side with.
Same order means head and tail will coincide. So the definition of polygon law is if a number of vectors acting at a point can be represented in magnitude and direction by sides of polygon in same order. Then their resultant can be represented by closing side of polygon in opposite order. Note this definition, then we'll start with the calculations of polygon law. Okay, so can I erase it?
Yes, sir.
Let's take an example of, say, 4 vectors acting at a point. Say I have 4 vectors acting at a point, and I represent it by the sides of polygon taken in same order. This is first vector, second vector, third vector, and fourth vector. So you have following 4 vectors acting at a point. So Rania, how would you represent the resultant vector? All vectors are in same order. Rania, how would you represent the resultant vector?
By the closing side of the polygon.
Yeah, closing side of polygon. And that closing side should be in same order or in opposite order?
Opposite order.
Yeah, opposite order means this should be, H should coincide. So you have following 4 vectors to add. A vector A, a vector B, a vector C, a vector D, and the resultant is represented by this vector R. This R is vector A plus vector B plus vector C plus vector. Unlike triangle law and parallelogram law, there is not a formula of using polygon law. Like there is not a single formula to calculate the whole magnitude using this A, B, C, and D vector. Like in parallelogram law, we have a formula of resultant like root over A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Similarly, in triangle law, we have this formula like A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. But in polygon law, we don't have formula like A square, B square, C square, D square. There's not a single formula. So how do you solve numericals using polygon law? The method is you have to apply triangle law repeatedly. If I'm asking you to add 4 vectors using polygon law, then first add 2 vectors using triangle law. Then through the resultant of second, add third vector. And then in the resultant of third vector, add the fourth vector. So you have to repeatedly apply that triangle law of vector addition. Like if I'm saying this is vector A and this is vector B. So Sania, are these 2 vectors in same order A and B or in opposite order? Sania?
They are in
They are in same
Opposite order. Same. Sorry. Same.
head and tail coincides. They are in same.
Yeah. Same.
This is the resultant of A and B. Let's call this as R1. R1 is the sum of vector A and vector B. Vector A plus vector B is R1. That's first equation. Now, Fatma Sharif, is R1 and C in same order or in opposite order? Fatma Sharif, it's R1 and C. Are they in same order? Fatma, am I audible? Fatma Sharif.
Sir, I was disconnected. Now it's audible.
Okay, not audible. I'm asking this out of this R1 and C, this R1 and C, are they in same order or in opposite order? Vector R1 and vector C.
Same order.
Same order. So in triangle PST, I can say that R1 and C are in same order. So I can draw a resultant vector. Right? I can draw a resultant vector from T to T. This is resultant vector. This is R2. So in triangle PST, R2 is the resultant vector. So you can write that R1 plus C is equal to R2. That's equation number 2. And here R1 is A plus B. So I'm repeatedly applying triangle law. So if I substitute 1 in 2, then you would get that vector A plus vector B plus vector C is equal to R2. That's equation number 2. Now Rania, in PTU, in triangle PTU, which one is the resultant, Rania? In triangle PTU, which one is the resultant?
R.
R is the resultant. Good. So I can say that R2 plus B is equal to vector R. And the value of R2 I can take from equation number 3. Now if I substitute 3 and 4, then this is A plus B plus C plus D, it's vector R. So vector A plus vector B plus C plus D is equal to vector R. So is it clear?
Yes.
Just note it down, then we'll do one numerical on parallelogram. Okay, so let's start with the numerical. A body travel 2 meters towards east, then 3 meters towards north, and then 5 meters vertically upwards. Vertically upwards. Calculate magnitude of total displacement. Magnitude of total displacement. So body travels 2 meters towards east. So this is east. It travels 2 meters towards east. 5 meters towards 3 meters towards north. So this is towards north. And then 5 meters vertically upwards. Vertically upward means starts flying. It's coming out of this out of the screen. It's moving out of the screen. So I can't draw that direction out of the screen. So that I am drawing it here. So this is your S1, which is 2 meters. This is east. This is your S2, which is 3 meters. It's towards north. And this is your S3, which is 5 meters. It's outwards. I cannot draw outwards direction on the screen. So I'm just drawing it here. It's outwards. Okay, can you tell me, are these three vectors co-initial, same order, opposite order? What's the pattern of all these three vectors? Are they same order?
Opposite. Opposite.
Same order.
Just check S1 and S2. In S1 and S2, head and tail coincides.
Maybe.
Head and tail
Same order.
coincide. These vectors are in same order.
Same order.
Here, S2 and S3, head and tail coincide. If head and tail coincide, then again its vectors are in same order.
Same order.
So all these vectors are in same order.
Same order.
Same order. So we can add them up using polygon law. I can write that S is S1 plus S2 plus S3. But we don't have formula for adding directly three vectors in polygon. We will first add two vectors. Let's add S1 and S2. Let's first write a vector S12, which is S1 plus S2. Vector S1 and S2 are perpendicular to each other. To calculate their magnitude, I am using the simple triangle law. It's root over S1 square, S2 square, 2S1, S2 cos 90. This is it. S1 square, S2 square, 2S1, S2 cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. So your S12 is root over S1 square plus S2 square. So the magnitude of S12 is, it's root over. How much is S1? S1 is 2, it's 2 square. S2 square, how much is S2? It's 3 square. So your S12 is 9 plus 4, it's root over 13 meter. Is it clear, everyone?
Yes.
Any doubt? Any doubt? No doubt.
No, sir.
Okay, Noor. Now, can you guess the angle between this S12 and S3? Because now we have to add C. First of all, we added S1 and S2 and get a vector S2. So for calculate total displacement, we need to add S12 and S3. So Noor, what's the angle between S12 and S3? No answer.
90 degrees.
What? Sorry?
45 degrees.
What's the angle between S12 and S3, Noor?
Yes.
How much?
45 degrees.
Can you just type your answer? Noor, hello, can you just type your answer? I can't hear you properly. No answer. Sania,
I sent through chat.
try now. Noor. Sania, will you try the angle between S12 and S3? No.
Sir, 90 degree.
90 degree. Good. Why? Why 90 degree? Answer is correct, Sania, but why you said this is 90 degree?
Because this is right angle triangle.
See, here S12 is in the plane of Earth, right? A body
Yeah.
towards east, then it moves towards north. So the resultant is along the surface of Earth. But this is
Okay.
perpendicular to the surface of Earth.
Mm.
It's my mobile phone. It moves
Yeah.
towards east, then it moves towards north, and then it finally starts moving outwards. So the S3 is perpendicular to the surface of Earth. This S12 is in
Okay.
the surface of Earth. So they. Okay, now calculate its magnitude. Get the magnitude of S and report your answer in chat room. I want to see answer of each one of you. Put the value of S12, S3, get the value of S. I need answer of each one of you. Calculate total displacement S and report your answer in chat room. Okay. No fast. Sania, you are doing wrong. What about the rest? Okay, Noor. Padma, Rania, Faiza, your answers. So for total displacement is, say to add these two displacements, you will use parallelogram law. Sorry, the triangle law. The triangle law says it's S12 square,
S1, 2,
S3 square,
2,
2S12, S3.
2.
So S12 is root 13. If you take square of this, this is 13. S5. And this is 0 because cos 90 is 0.
Yeah.
So 25 plus 13, that's 38. Padma, Rania, and Faiza. You're having still have doubts in this calculation? Tell me very frankly, you got stuck. Padma, okay. Faiza, did you get this numerical? Okay, so can I erase it? So that was about polygon law.
Yeah, sir.
Okay. After this polygon law, the next is subtraction of vectors. We have few properties of vector addition. Properties of vector addition. Let's first do some properties of vector addition, then we will do subtraction of vectors. Properties of vector addition. First property, it's commutative. Vector addition is commutative. It can commute. Like means vector A plus vector B is vector B plus vector A. Means if you change the order of vector, then answer will not change. It's associative. Which means if I add vector A to the sum of vector B and vector C, or if I add vector A and vector B first, and then add vector C to it, it's the same thing. It's associative. Third one. First, commute, it commutes. Second, it's associative. After associative property, the third property is the existence of zero or null vector. There exists a zero vector. If I add vector A to this zero vector, I will get back the same vector. So it's a vector having zero magnitude. If I add a vector to the zero vector, then the magnitude or direction will not change, it will remain as it is. Okay, just note these properties, then we'll start subtraction of vector. How would you subtract vectors? So I'm erasing it. The next topic, it's subtraction of vector. The next is subtraction of vectors. Subtraction of vector means, say you have two vectors, a vector A and a vector B. This is vector A and this is vector B. They're acting at an angle theta. This is A, and yes, this is angle theta. If I asked you to subtract B from it, like I asked you to calculate A minus B. So in vectors, subtraction basically means addition of a negative vector. Like vector A minus vector B means addition of negative of vector B to vector A. That's vector subtraction basically. Subtracting B from A means addition of minus B to vector A. That's my first equation. So we have to add negative of vector B to it. If B is acting in this direction, then negative of B means this vector. If vector B is acting in this direction, then negative of vector B means with this vector, which is acting in opposite direction. This is the resultant vector. So when I say add A and B, then you add A and B, make a parallelogram using A and B. If I'm asking you to add A and minus B, then take a vector minus B, which is in a direction opposite to that of B, and to this vector minus B, add vector A. Let's complete that parallelogram in this portion, and this resultant will be A plus minus of A. Now, to add, so if this angle is theta, Rania, what should be this angle, the value of this angle? If this is theta, then what should be the value of this angle? Rania? If I call this as theta, then what is the value of this angle?
Theta.
Hmm?
Theta.
Not theta. This whole is 180 degree, right?
Yes. 180 minus the theta.
180 minus theta, right? So if I add A and B, I will use parallelogram law, which says that vector magnitude of vector R is root over A square plus magnitude of minus B. So it's basically B square. This negative sign take care of direction. Magnitude is strictly positive quantity. Plus twice of vector A, vector B, cos of 180 minus theta. I am repeating it again. The magnitude of minus of vector B is B. The magnitude of minus of vector B is B. This negative sign just take care of direction. Negative of minus of vector B is B. So it's A square plus B square plus 2AB cos 180 minus theta. So cos 180 minus theta is minus of cos theta. This is the trigonometric identity. Just like you must have done in class 10 that sine
Yes.
plus
Yes.
cos theta is 1. This is again in trigonometric identity. So cos 180 minus theta is basically minus cos theta. Instead of this cos 180 minus theta, I can simply write minus cos theta. You can say that magnitude of resultant R is root over A square B square 2AB minus cos theta. And the end result is, it comes out to be, it's root over A square B square minus 2AB cos theta. This is the magnitude of resultant. It's A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. The next is direction. The next is the calculation of direction. To calculate direction, you need to calculate tan beta. You can write tan beta as, it's B sine, what's the angle between both of them? It's 180 minus theta. I'm repeating it again. The magnitude of minus B is plus B. Negative sign, just take care of direction. Don't put minus B here. Negative sign, just take care of direction. So tan beta is B sine 180 minus theta over A plus B cos 180 minus theta. Sine 180 minus theta is sine theta. Sine theta. Cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta. If I substitute all values here, then I would get tan beta is B sine theta over A minus B cos theta. This is the value of tan beta. It's B sine theta over A minus B cos. So the only difference in addition and subtraction is, in addition you have A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. But instead of plus you have minus 2AB cos theta. This is A minus B cos. Okay, just note it down and tell me if you have any doubt in this calculation. Then we'll do some numericals on this concept. Is it clear? Everyone?
Sir, I didn't get this.
You didn't get this, okay. You have done parallelogram law?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Fatma, in parallelogram law, we use this law as if we have vector A, we have a vector B. We complete the parallelogram. The resultant comes out to be root over A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta, right?
Yes.
But earlier we were adding vectors. Now I'm asking you to subtract B from it. So it's A minus B. Can I write this A minus B is as vector A plus minus of vector B? That's the same thing.
Yes.
Now, what do you mean by minus B? Minus B simply means a vector which have magnitude exactly equal to that of B, but direction is opposite to that of B. So this is B, the direction is opposite to that of B, which is minus B. That's the direction of minus B. Right? Now, you have to add A and minus B. To add A and minus B, I complete this parallelogram here. And this resultant, this diagonal of parallelogram will represent resultant vector R. Fatma, is it clear up to this point? And this diagram? Sure. The next is, if angle between A and B is theta, right? Then the angle between A and minus B, the whole is 180 degree. If I call this as theta, then the remaining angle is 180 minus theta. So now you have two vectors in parallelogram law acting at an angle of 180 minus theta. So I use the parallelogram law, usual parallelogram law, A square. I'm just calculating the magnitude of resultant vector R. A square plus B square plus 2AB cos of 180 minus theta. See, I'm not using minus B because that minus sign is in direction. The magnitude is never negative. So it's A square plus B square plus 2AB cos 180 minus theta. I can write this cos 180 minus theta as minus of cos theta. This cos of 180 minus theta is minus cos theta. This is an identity that I am using. You have to memorize this identity that cos 180 minus theta is minus cos. So instead of this cos 180 minus theta, I write minus cos theta. So it comes out to be A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta. Fatma.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next is direction. To calculate direction, I define angle beta with this thing. I define this as an angle. This is beta. To calculate beta, I am using the same expression that was given in parallelogram law, b sine theta by a plus b cos theta. Instead of theta, I am using 180 minus theta. As you know that cos 180 minus theta is minus cos theta, but sine 180 minus theta is sine. So instead of this sine 180 minus theta, I just substituted sine theta. And in this cos 180 minus theta, I just substituted minus cos. So it comes out to be tan beta is b sine theta over a minus b cos theta. Clear, Fatma, now?
Yes, sir.
Any other doubt, anyone?
No, sir.
No doubt. Okay, let's do one numerical on this subtraction of it. Can I erase it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let's say this. You are given two velocities. This is V1, which is 5 meters per second. This is V2, which is 2 meters per second. The angle between these two velocities is 60 degrees. The angle between them is 60 degrees. You are supposed to calculate relative velocity of one with respect to two. Relative velocity of one with respect to two. That is V1, which comes out to be V1 minus V2. Everyone else than Pfizer have done relative velocity. This is question of relative velocity in 2D. So you're supposed to get Pfizer, don't worry about what's relative velocity. I will put that we will do in backup. Just see this. You're supposed to calculate V1 2 only, which is just subtraction of V1 and V2. Complete this calculation, report your answer in chat. Your class will end only after completing this numerical. Calculate and report your answer in chat room. Unless you report your answer, I won't leave you. I need both magnitude as well as direction, both. Answers. Okay. What about the direction, Fatma? Okay, Fazil. Fazil, cos 60 is half. Okay. Right now I got three answers. One Fatima, Fazil, Sania. Maybe. Fatima, Farhan, I haven't received just your answer. And Noor. Okay. Good. So everyone is trying. Fatima, Farhan, I'm just waiting for your answer. Okay. So V12 is V1 minus V2 that I can write as V1 plus minus of V2, right? So this is V2. I can take a vector minus V2 here. And completed the parallelogram. So if I calculate the magnitude of V12, it comes out to be root over V1 square, V2 square, minus 2V1 V2 cos 60. So that's root over V1. V1 is 5 square. V2 is 2 square. 2 into 5 into 2 cos 60 is half. So it comes out to be 25 plus 4 minus 10. It's root over 19. 19. Padma, why you were getting root 3? Root 3. Okay, let's calculate direction. This is beta. So here tan beta is b sine 60 over a minus b cos theta. The next step is to choose your a and b. So if I'm taking beta with respect to v1, so that's a, and this is b. So tan beta is b. I can take b as v2 sine 60 divided by v1 minus v2 cos 60. How much is v2? v2 is 2. Sine 60 is root 3 by 2. v1 is 5. v2 is 2. Cos 60 is half. It gets cancelled out. So your tan beta comes out to be root 3 by 4. Your beta comes out to be tan inverse root 3 by 4. Father, why you were getting root 3 by 5? It's root 3 by 4. I think everyone is ignoring this one. Huh? We're taking 2 into half as 0.
I took one.
Noor got the right answer. Faiza Farooq got the right answer. Well, I couldn't understand why you were getting root 3. Fatma. Both the Fatma were getting 3. Fatma Farhana as well as Fatima Sharif. Why are you getting 3? What mistake you were making, Fatma? Okay, so you're subtracting them directly. Oh, we're doing 5 minus 2 equal to 3. Huh? These subtractions are not valid for vectors. If you have vectors, then you have to subtract them properly, vectorically, using parallelogram. Is it clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, there's one important announcement. From today onwards, you have to submit your assignments. After every class, I will share an assignment having 4 to 5 questions. It's based on the topic that we have done in the current class. Like the assignment that I will share today will have questions that will have questions from the topics that we have completed today. Like triangle law, polygon law, and subtraction of vectors. Just 4 to 5 vectors. You have to submit those assignments. To submit that assignment, initially on the WhatsApp group, there's one number of our counselor. The number through which we distribute your timings and everything. There's one contact number through which we distribute the timings and everything. You have to submit your assignments to that number. Just WhatsApp your assignment on that number. Don't WhatsApp your assignment on the group. Make him private messages. And we will count the marks of these assignments in your result. From this month onwards, we will give you report cards based on your monthly whatever have you done in the entire month. We will give you a report cards based on your monthly assessment. That report card would have your attendance, your class performance, like how much questions did you answer in the class, how much questions you asked, how much you are engaged in the classroom, and then test and marks of assignment. Okay, so let's stop here. And you have to submit that assignment within 12 hours. 12 hours or 24 hours. If I'm giving assignment today, then you have to submit it within 24 hours. Okay, let's stop here. We'll continue on Wednesday with the multiplication and resolution of vector. If you have any doubt, we can discuss it now.
Sir, today you'll give the assignment.
Yes, we are just sharing within 20-30 minutes.
Okay.
So class is over. If you have any doubts, I can discuss. If you don't have any doubt, then you can leave.
Sir,
Father.
sir, I had doubt in this assignment question which you gave.
Okay, which question?
Sir, this train like motion in 1D, cross and takeover.
Cross and take on trains A and B, right?
Two trains A and B each of length 100 meter. That's it.
Okay, just tell me the specification. The length of each train is 100 meter, right?
Yes, and then are running on a parallel track.
Right. The separation between them is some x. What is the speed of trains?
It's written one overtakes the other in 20 seconds
Hmm.
and one crosses the other in 10 seconds. Calculate the velocity of each train.
Okay. One overtakes the another in
20 seconds.
20 seconds. Okay. Let's say the velocity of first train is v1 and the train is v2, right?
Yes.
Overtake means they are moving in same direction. Trains overtake each other, that they are moving in opposite same direction. If they are moving in same direction, then to overtake each other, they have to travel a distance equal to the length of trains, right?
Yes.
It's asking to overtake. Don't consider the distance. It's 200 meters. That is the displacement. And if they are traveling in same direction, then v12 is v1 minus v2, right?
Yes.
Simply write time as s by v12. So it comes out to be 200 by v1 minus v2. How much is time taken in overtake?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. That's my first question. When they are moving in opposite direction, Fazil, then 100 plus 100 is 200 meter, right?
Yes.
Opposite direction.
So it is 10 second or it's 20 second for the first case, right?
Nah, then it's 20 seconds because in
Yeah.
overtake, if it is
Yeah.
crossing each other, then the relative velocity is higher, right? v1 plus v2. And now time should be, it's again s divided by v1 plus v2, and that is equal to 200 by v1 plus v2. That comes out to be 10 seconds. So now you have two equations and two variables. So can you solve them?
Yes. Yes.
Any other doubt?
No. No. Thank you very much.